Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I was reading your statement on your positions on your website, and you started, you believe policing in this country needs reform. Could you expand a little bit more on what aspects of policing in the criminal justice system needs reform, and what legislation you would maybe introduce or support regarding reform?
Sure, and what we need to do is we need to make sure that the hard part about running for federal office is that a lot of people want me to advocate for changes, which are really state issues that we can't directly get involved in. But a couple of things that we can do. Number one, we can demilitarize our police forces. Okay, I spent 5 months in Baghdad. I spent a total of a year in Afghanistan. And the federal officers I see in places like Minneapolis, in Lee County, Alabama, to a lesser extent, those guys are equipped exactly the same way our special operations forces were equipped in Afghanistan and Iraq. That is completely and totally unacceptable. Okay, the fact that a police officer can wear a mask to cover their identity, I saw that in Iraq. That is not something we do in this country. In this country, the first law, the Democrats are trying to get it passed now, but it may not happen, but one of the first ones that you have to have on your person, easily visible, your name and your agency, period. Body cams we can argue about later, but as a minimum, I won't, because we've got plenty of cameras floating around out there. All of this stuff is recorded. We had 2 murders that were recorded, and we had trouble identifying the people because there was nothing on their person that indicated they were federal officers, which to me is terrifying because their justification for shooting people on a regular basis is the fact that they tried to ram me with their car. I'll tell you, if somebody steps in front of me and they don't have something on that says, Homeland Security or Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they step in front of me and try to stop my truck, I'm going to ram them with my truck. Because that's terrifying. Think about it for a minute. I don't care what side of this issue you come down on, to have someone that is heavily armed and appears to be a federal troop. And then we're also going to, something that, okay. When I first got to college, on my second appointment, and I haven't talked about this publicly because this really upsets me. When we rolled out of the wire for the first time, it was just a short trip over the Kabul airport. They said, if you break down and Afghans begin to cluster, don't grab your M4, don't grab your long gun. So, well, what am I supposed to do? He said, there's a flashbang grenade strapped to the floor right next to you. There's a case of them in the back end. Get that flashbang and hold it up. And I said, why? He said, because it scares the hell out of them, because they know you'll throw that. And that really had an impact on me when I was told that. Last year, I saw flashbang grenades being thrown at U.S. citizens on U.S. territory. So we're going to get rid of those. As a crowd control measure, flashbang grenades should never be used, period. And we have to go in and make sure that that's. Now, the other thing that I would, policing is based on the trust of the community. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has lost that trust and they will never get it back, so ICE has to be done away with. The Department of Homeland Security, those of us who were in the intelligence community 25 years ago when it was formed said, DHS is a train wreck. What is this thing? So DHS needs to be reformed from top to bottom. The one thing that I am going to push for, and I've talked to a lot of chiefs of police, I've talked to a lot of sheriffs, the one thing that the good ones are worried about is the fact that you, as a civilian, will have 3 to 4 truly traumatic events happen in your lifetime. Officers will deal with between 15 and 20 a year. So we have to start worrying about a lot of the problems we have with officers being excessive comes down to their own mental health. So we need federal programs to support local law enforcement agencies so that we can focus on the resilience and the mental health of the officers that are out there enforcing the law. That's one of the primary programs. Now we're gonna stop transferring. Why a local police department needs an MRAP, a massive armored vehicle, I for the life of me do not understand that. So we're going to shut that down. But then we're also going to be more proactive in reforming police operations. We're going to demilitarize them, and then we're going to try to make sure that all those officers are healthy. so that when they enforce the law, we know that we can trust it, and we know that, and then some of them, we're just gonna, some people just shouldn't be police officers. That's not a guaranteed job. I appreciate their service, but if you're not, yeah, some of them should. That answer is a roundabout sort of thing, but it's my main concern right now is how militarized our police forces are at all levels. And we just elected in Lee County a guy who said that sheriff in Lee County, he won the Republican primary, and there is no Democrat running. He said he wanted to run. He's a Marine, a former Marine officer. He wants to run his sheriff's department just like they ran the Marine Corps, and that scares the hell out of him. He also said he wants to, take every penny he can get from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and would assist him in raids. That also scares me.